Welcome to my weekly video. This is Debbie Indihar Giordano of Master Brokers. That's the report on the headlines with my loan broker this morning regarding interest rates. So we've got a really fast moving video today, so watch it to the end. We're going to talk about interest rates. We're going to talk about a topic that I really like, which is From Chaos to Comfort, a guide to unpacking smartly. So once you make that move, what is the best way to do that? We'll talk about the general membership meeting that I went to last week at the Santa Clara County Board of Realtors, and then I'll wrap up with open house activity this weekend and a potential sale and closing that I've got coming up. So interest rates. Oil prices continue to move lower and inflation pressures are easing. Mortgage rates have reached actually their lowest level in several weeks. None of those developments alone changes the market overnight, but taken all together, the encouraging signs are that conditions are continuing to improve. So what are we seeing today? 30-year fixed conforming is at 6.575. 15-year fixed conforming is at 5.99, so it dropped below 6%. 30-year fixed jumbo is at 6.49, and 15-year jumbo is at 6.125. So hopefully it's going to even get better. So stay tuned on my weekly updates. I like to give you those reports. And then let's talk about unpacking. So a great article last Friday in the Milpitas Post, that's the local newspaper, which is one that I advertise in. It says moving is frequently cited as one of the greatest stressors a person can experience in a lifetime. However, once the moving truck pulls away, the journey is not over. Now comes the daunting task of unpacking. So they kind of lay it out into phases on the unpacking. First thing is lay out the groundwork. The efficiency of your unpacking often depends on how you manage the move itself. If you opted to hire professional movers, much of the grueling heavy lifting is already out of the way. And I do have a couple movers that I recommend to my clients. They do a great job. Some of them pack for you. Some you would pack yourselves, but of course the unpacking is left up to you. So they start preparing for the first day of unpacking. Before you start, consider getting the right size tools available for your unpacking. The National Association of Realtors recommends wearing an apron. It has practical ways to keep your box cutters, scissors, cleaning sprays, and dust rags within reach always. Before belongings are placed on shelves or in cabinets, take the time to wipe down each room and make necessary minor repairs. The next step is a room-by-room strategy. Rather than opening boxes at random, establish a logical unpacking order. Generally, the kitchen, the bedrooms, and the bathrooms are the three highest priorities in a functioning home. Last but not least, pace yourself. Unpacking is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's important to pace yourself to avoid a total burnout. One effective measure is to use a timer to work in manageable spurts, such as unpacking for 45 minutes, followed by a 15-minute break. So we know it's a big job. Moving is a big job, but usually it ends up being a grateful thing when you've sold your home locally and you're moving out of the area, just like my sellers on Tahoe Drive, and I'll talk about that. We had a showing this morning on that property. General membership market update. I went to the Santa Clara County Board of Realtors. They hold about 3 general meetings a year, and this one was nice to attend to because we celebrated as an organization 130 years. It's the Santa Clara County Board of Realtors. We're actually the oldest realtor organization in the state of California. So we really have it going on and continue to have about 7,000 to 8,000 members in our board. So they talked about California Association Realtors Deputy of Finance came and spoke to our organization. So he gave a California housing market update. And remember, this is general for the state of California. But in terms of the economy, he stated 2 items that do affect our market. One is the Iranian war challenges our energy, and it adds food prices to increase, which in the second thing that it adds is an inflation factor that continues to rise. So those are the 2 things that are in check that do affect our housing market. But if you got to remember what I've known over the years of my career, housing is supply and demand. And we still continue to have a low supply in the state of California, a high demand. Even though there's people moving out of the state, we still have a lot still moving in, or ones that are here that need to buy. So the demand is good. Investing in AI has also helped our local economy, as we know that if anybody works in the tech industry or knows somebody that does. So then let's look at the general housing market update. Existing home sales are about 5.1% increase. So we're having a little bit of an increase of inventory, which helps the buyers in having more supply to choose from. Sales growth are more robust in the upper pricing, believe it or not, in the 2 million and up. Those are a higher sales category. And again, supply is still low, as we marked on this outlook. So fiscal stimulus is coming in 2026. That will help spur the local economy. Another outlook predictor that he said is midterm elections will bring some volatility into the market. We're going to see higher inflation, and the GDP, that's the gross domestic product, is expected to grow by 2% in 2027. That's a little bit low. And the Federal Reserve is expected to actually make a rate hike by the end of this year. That doesn't necessarily mean just because the Federal Reserve raises rates that mortgage interest rates will rise. It's not a direct correlation of that, but we may see that. And the other factor in housing in California, as we all know, is insurance. Insurance is going to continue to climb, and that's pressing higher and higher into the pricing of houses. So I had open over the weekend 1865 Big Bend Drive right here in Milpitas. It's in the Parktown area. It's a cute little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,249 square feet. Nice property. The second weekend. So on Saturday I had 14 groups through, which was pretty good. Sunday was a little bit lower, about 7 or 8 groups. But most people looking on a second weekend are very serious buyers. You kind of go through the first weekend, some of the neighbors or some of the other people that are coming through that aren't necessarily buying the home. So the second weekend, although the numbers is down, it's still a very good count. And I sent out disclosures yesterday to a buyer that came in Saturday that's not represented by an agent and wanted to see inspection reports, and therefore, so we're talking today. I've set tomorrow at noon, Tuesday at noon, offers for that property. The price point is $1,598,888. So it's a decent price. It's not overpriced. It's not underpriced. And the reason I know that is in years past, if I've overpriced a property, I won't see the traffic coming through on the open house. So I think we're priced pretty well in terms of the Parktown area. It's the Synod Elementary School, which is the #1 school in Milpitas. So I have got closing next week, 453 Taylor Drive in Milpitas. That's that 5-bedroom, 2-bath, 1624 square foot home in the Sunny Hills area. It listed at $1,650,000. We sold it for that full price. Seller took an offer right away after the first weekend open. We're going to be closing that soon, so we're really excited about that one. And then the one I showed yesterday and today, 1750 Tahoe Drive in Milpitas. That's also in the Parktown area. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,504 square feet, 1 block away from Synod Elementary. Nicely remodeled. It's in a members only can show category. What that means on MLS or multiple listing service is that the property is available for the seller to show it. It's not out on Zillow or Redfin or the public sites. So any agent that has a real interested buyer in that area can contact me and we can show it. We showed it yesterday and then also this morning, and I do believe that I think an offer is coming in on that one, and the price point on that is $1,750,000. So seller will be anxious to get that sold, maybe do a 30-day rent back as they purchase their other home in North Carolina where they're moving to. So I've got coming up, still on the books, 1464 Edsel Drive, 4-bedroom, 4-bath for $1.5 million, and 390 Monmouth Drive for 1.7, 5-bedroom, 3-bath. Hopefully we're going to be getting that one going pretty soon. So if you're interested in this great market, give me a call, 408-945-8988 or GiordanoDJ at AOL.com, or better yet, visit my website, debbiegiordano.com. There's a connect tab. It will get right off to me and we'll get you a CMA, which is a competitive market analysis. I'd like to view your home and we can prep it, and I can tell you what I think we need to do. Get it ready to optimize full value for your home. So talk to you then, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.